You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
It's Oh Behave with Arden Moore, the show that teaches you how to have harmony in the household with your pets. Join Arden as she travels coast to coast to help millions better understand why cats and dogs do what they do. Get the latest scoop on famous faces, their perfectly pampered pets, and who's walking who in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails. Garner great pet tips and have a doggone fur-flying fun time. So get ready for the pause and applause as we unleash your Oh Behave host, America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore.
Welcome to the Oh Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. Now, as Valentine's Day approaches, I wanted to treat all you listeners to a special episode filled with love and hope as only our pets can convey. Now, let's think about some famous romantic couples in the world of animals. In a popular Disney flick, we have oohed and awed over a pair of dogs named Lady and the Tramp sharing spaghetti noodles. In the Muppet movies, we cheered on a sweet frog named Kermit when he finally won over Miss Piggy. But alas, these are just dreamed up couples. What about some real life examples? Our special guest today is going to talk about an unlikely kinship between a three-legged cat and a two-legged dog named Henry and Tink. And here to share their tale of hope and inspiration is author, psychologist, and official cat scribe, Kathy Conheim. Welcome back to the show, Kathy.
Thank you. Good morning.
All right. We're happy to have you back. And Kathy actually teamed up with B.J. Gallagher to pen a heartfelt book. It's called Henry and Tink, A Remarkable Romance, the love story of a three-legged cat and a two-legged dog. And it is remarkable. Seriously. Now, we're going to find out more and how their romance can inspire you right after we take this commercial break. So you all know the drill. Sit and stay. We'll be right back.
Time for a pause. 4 furry ones, actually. Sit and stay. Oh Behave will be right back.
It's DesignerPetSweaters.com. Hand-knitted designer sweaters for your precious pup or cool cat. Beautiful couture patterns for your pets, including custom-knitted formal wear, casual wear, yachting, and even sports-themed. Many designer pet sweaters include feathered tammy hats, top hats, and a lot of sparkle. Each sweater includes leg loops, front paw sleeves, and leash opening. Visit DesignerPetSweaters.com to order your 4-legged fashions today. Your pets will stay warm for the winter and be runway ready. Large or small, we fit them all. DesignerPetSweaters.com.
Let's Talk Pets on PetLifeRadio.com. Oh Behave is back with more tail-wagging ways to achieve harmony in the household with your pets. Now, back to your fetching host, America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore.
Welcome back to the Oh Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. Before we begin, I want to first thank all you listeners, all 800,000 of you from 30 countries, for tuning in each week. We now have a united goal. Let's reach 1 million listeners in 2013. And I know with your help, we can do it. Now, in honor of Valentine's Day, I'm delighted to welcome back a favorite guest and friend, Kathy Conheim. Kathy has excelled in so many roles in her life. They all have a single purpose, and that is to bring out the best in pets and people. Her latest example is a new book that chronicles this unlikely friendship between a three-legged cat and a two-legged dog. The book is called Henry and Tink, A Remarkable Romance. I am so glad to have you back on the show, Kathy.
We're just thrilled to be here, and particularly thrilled to have Henry finally tell the world about his true love, little Tink.
All right, we got to get going on this. So I love Henry. I love Tink. And, you know, let's talk briefly for the 3 people on the planet that don't know about Henry, the ASPCA 2010 Cat of the Year. Let's do a short bio on Mr. Henry.
Okay, Henry came to us after the Cedar Fires in 2004, and he came with 4 feral kittens on a property up in Julian that we have. And the week after we saw them on the property, the next week he was limping and dragging his paw. I was a dog-only person. I guess one could say I hated cats in those days, but I don't hate any wounded anything. So I picked him up, and to my surprise, he let me pick him up because he was a feral kitten, and rushed him to the vet, and the vet said, the good news is he's a very healthy 4-month-old little boy. The bad news is he has to have his leg amputated at the shoulder, or he'll die because he'll just drag that paw along. So after a long conversation, euthanasia was decided, which neither of us could bring ourselves to go say. So little Henry's life was saved, and he purred his way into our heart, our lives, and now he's changed everything.
Darn that darn cat. Hey, Disney had a cat movie called That Darn Cat. Henry.
Well, that's the darn cat. I have now answered almost 60,000 letters for Henry, and he thinks turnabout is fair play. I've had my hand operated on 3 times to reconstruct my paw, and he says, get over it. I lost mine. So we're just going on and continuing to reach out to the millions of people who need a sense of hope and resilience and comfort, and that's what Henry and Tink are here to teach us.
Well, speaking of Tink, so Henry lives in the Conheim compound. What about Tink?
Well, I met Tink's mother at a lecture I did at UCSD, and she came up and said, I think maybe you'd like to meet my dog. And Tink was born without 2 front paws as a result of a bad gene in breeding. She bounced on her little chest, and she's just darling. She's under 6 pounds, and she's a very cute little dachshund. So I said, great, bring Tink over. Well, the act of discovery of these 2 animals, Tink, who'd never seen a cat, and Henry, who'd never seen a 2-legged little dog, was really wonderful to behold because they didn't have that sense of judgment that humans have. They didn't know that you don't have 2 legs or 3 legs or 4 legs. They just were curious. Curiosity came without any judgment. And over these years, they've become snuggle buddies and friends. And if you say to Tink, where's Henry? She bounces all over the place. Now she has a set of wheels, really cool wheels. So she can now chase her boyfriend all around the house and under the bed and everywhere because she just sails through the world. Henry was so concerned at first because she was getting rug burns on her little chest, bouncing after him, that she asked a designer of small dog clothes, Lancy Designs, if they would make a little vest for his girlfriend so she wouldn't get rug burns. And Susan Lancy said, well, can you tell me her chest measurements? And Henry wrote back and said, I've only had 2 dates. Do you think I ought to ask her?
Yeah, it's rather personal, don't you think?
Right. Well, we got her chest measurements and we got her hot pink little vest. But from there, she went to many different iterations of braces. And that's one of the real lessons that Tink and Henry have to teach. A human orthotist from Hanger made Tink 11 different braces. And if he had quit at the first one, Tink would never have her wheels. So one of Henry's big kibble for thought is mistakes are learning opportunities. Mm-hmm. And little Tink would not be sailing around on her wheels if there was any stopping at all after the first and second and third, because each time Adrian learned something about a dachshund's body, because he's really a human orthotist. He just donated his time to help Tink be able to catch up with her boyfriend, Henry. So it now works on that, and we have this wonderful, wonderful love story. And everybody from Adrian, who made the wheels for Tink, to all the people in Henry's world, have been involved in a true labor of love.
And that's why it's kind of nice if that's a perfect segue to let people know when the show is over, your homework assignment, folks, is to go to henrysworld.org. And I want you to check out about this remarkable romance between Henry and Tink and Dolly and all the other critters in Kathy's world that are really making a difference. And I think you're also being very kind. You're giving away not 1, not 2, not 3, but how many autographed copies of Henry and Tink's book?
5.
5. That's a handful. Okay. So
it depends on how many fingers you have.
Yeah, that's true. All right, everybody. I want you to email Arden at 4leggedlife. That's FOUR, leggedlife.com. Put in the subject header, Henry and Tink, and I will select 5 of you, and we'll get your contact information, and we'll dash it over to Kathy Conheim, and she will dash out autographed personalized copies of Henry and Tink's book. Be sure to include the names of your pets, too, because she'll include that in the subscription. I know you have a sore paw, Kathy, but I think this is a good deed to do, don't you think?
We're very happy to do that. And, one of the things that I'm excited about Valentine's Day is it's a day to celebrate love, ideally. And we all call the work that we admire and value the absolute most labors of love. We often give the absolute highest praise for an achievement by giving it this label. And we know that work that changes lives is always grounded in love, because without love, there really could be no change. And that's why this love story really is powerful right now. We live in a world that is so divisive, and everybody's name-calling, and are you this, are you that, and it's categorization that is demeaning, and it's not loving, and it's not kind, and it's not compassionate. So this love story, at its very essence, is about seeing differences as unique, not bad, and allowing that act of discovery to happen instead of, I already know who you are, and I know that I don't like you, and I know if you're this color or that color, or a Republican or a Democrat or this or that. Because this story, first and foremost, is about self-discovery. It's about acceptance. It's about how what may seem impossible to some becomes a reality. And it's about the meeting of these two wonderful, innocent souls who don't see different as bad. They see different as special. And that's what just amazed us as we watched Henry and Tink discover each other and then really love each other and play and cuddle and do all sorts of things that one wouldn't expect. Humans are the ones that coined the phrase, they fight like cats and dogs.
Right.
This cat and dog didn't hear that phrase, and nobody sent them the memo that that's what they were supposed to do. So they don't do that. They don't do that at all. But it's, they admire each other, they love each other, they're compassionate, and they're kind, and they play. And think how different our world would be if we did that, and if we moved from victim to hero and played the paw that we were dealt.
Well, I think one of the many talents that you have is that you have the talent of telling stories. You're a great storyteller, but it's always a story with a good meaning in it. As you're saying here in the book, Henry and Tink, A Remarkable Romance. The way this book is written, I got to tell you, I love the layout, I love the photos, and I love just the pacing of the words. Tell us a little bit about how you and B.J. Gallagher kind of team up on the storytelling art. It is an art, Kathy.
Well, it takes more than that. Henry's World encompasses a lot of people. Mercedes is one of the people who works for Henry's World, and Dolly and Tink, and we were talking about this wonderful idea of making it like a picture album, like you do when you have a family that you love and you want to show it for years. And Mercedes did the layout of the book, which I love.
Let's do a
pause
up.
Mercedes, you got
all
that right.
All right. And Mercedes Cerrone. Let's get the whole name.
That's right. She spent many, many years in educational designs, but her highest power is working for Henry's World. BJ and I have been friends for years, and we both think that storytelling is the way we teach people. It's a right brain function. And she writes parables for grown-ups, and I write stories for children that are trapped inside of grown-ups and for real children. So we both say that our books are from 3 to 93 or 3 to 100 because many of us walk around with a small child inside that is cleverly disguised as a grown-up. But we need all the things that a small child needs. We need applause, we need compassion, we need kindness, we need encouragement, we need love, and we just pretend we don't. Animals don't pretend. They wag, they push their head against you when they want to be petted, as you well know, because of our Dolly dog who is so needy. And they just plain come out and say, pet me, love me, play with me, do this. We walk in and pretend we don't need any of the above. And of course we need all of the above. So Tink and Henry are teaching us that it's important to say, help me. It's important to do acts of kindness. It's important to believe, as Tink would say, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. It's important to practice love and kindness and compassion. I think it's no small accident that the people of Newtown are asking the world if they want to honor those who died in that event, that terrible event. Go practice 26 acts of random kindness for somebody. They don't need stuff. The world needs kindness. And I can't think of a better honoring kind of thing on a day that's to celebrate love than to go find 26 ways for unsuspecting animals or people to just do something nice. It doesn't have to cost a lot of money. We have time, energy, and money. Do something with one of those resources 26 times for Tink, for Henry, for the town of Newtown, for all who need love and pretend that they don't. That's the way we're going to change the world. One act of kindness at a time. One story at a time. And that's why we write stories. That's why there's Henry's World. That's why there's What's the Matter with Henry. That's why there's What About Me, I'm Here Too. And now the latest book, Henry and Tink, A Remarkable Romance. It's because storytelling reaches our hearts and it reaches our right brains. And Henry has a way of teaching called Kibble for Thought. And his Kibble for Thought are just small pieces of information that if we lived by, our lives would be different.
We're going to talk about Henry's Kibble for Thought and Tink's. We're going to take a quick commercial break, everybody. We're speaking with Kathy Conheim. She is the author of Henry and Tink, A Remarkable Romance. And we're going to learn about some insights from the world of a two-legged dog and a three-legged cat and how they can really bring out our best. So everybody sit and stay. We'll be right back.
Time for a walk on the red carpet, of course. Oh Behave will be back in a flash right after these messages.
Molly, here's your dinner. Zeus, that's not your food.
Don't let that happen to your precious cat. Elevate your cat's eating experience with the Cat Tree Tray. The Cat Tree Tray keeps your cat's food off the floor and conveniently located on the cat tree. It's the perfect way to eat. It's a beautiful wrought iron tray that easily attaches to your cat tree and keeps dogs and other critters out of your cat's dish. A must for multi-pet households. There's a 6-inch tray for large bowls and a 4-inch tray for smaller bowls. Purchase your Cat Tree Tray today. Go right now to cattreetray.com. That's cattreetray.com. CATTREETRAY.com.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Hey, this is Katherine Heigl, and you are listening to Miss Arden Moore on Oh Behave on Pet Life Radio. Tune in for more fantastic ideas and tips for your dogs and cats and pets.
We're back from the lot. Just checked the paper and we had a record showing at the box. The letterbox, that is. Now back to Oh Behave. Here's Arden.
Welcome back to the Oh Behave Show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. I am jazzed that we have Kathy Conheim in the house. You know, Kathy and I have been friends for many, many years, and you've put up with all my crazy puns and my pet tales, but I really do admire you and love you for what you do for people and for pets. And in the book, Henry and Tink, A Remarkable Romance, we're not going to give away all the kibbles, but on page 27, for all of you going to dash out and get this book, and you will, can you, Kathy, please share a couple favorite Henry kibbles for thought and a couple of Tink's kibbles for thought?
Well, two of Henry's most favorite kibble for thought is, one is that hard things happen, and it's not the events of our lives, those hard things, that will dictate who we become in the world. It's our response to those hard things. So if we would just remember that we always have control over our response. We don't always have control over what happens to us. Henry's response to losing his legs was one of resilience and one of showing us a new way to deal with life, because he just plain started living with 3 legs. And the same with Tink. Hard things happen. One of his other kibble for thought that I love is you have to play the paw you're dealt. You don't always get to choose what cards you get, but you get to choose how you play them. And it's incredibly important to be just you. Henry's name is Henry J.M., just me. Each of us has a job. It's to be the best you that you can possibly be. No matter what that is, don't let anybody tell you who to be and how to be. You have to be true to who you are. And little Tink opens our hearts and minds to new things. Little Tink's kibble for thought is everybody's special in their own way. Everybody. And love comes when you least expect it. You just have to be open to it, and you have to believe that you think you can. You think you can for any of the things that are hard in life. I think I can.
Wait a minute, say that again. Do it.
I think I can. So those are the things that are some of their kibble for thought. One of the other favorite ones that I have is just because we can't do everything does not give us permission to do nothing. A lot of times we humans sit back and we wait for others to do things. And we say, oh, I'm not rich, or I don't have that much time, or I can't do this. And we sort of lull ourselves into believing it's okay to do nothing. A smile, reaching out to somebody, buying a can of dog food, helping an old lady across the street like me, doing any number of things that are just small acts of kindness are a very big deal. And if each of us believed that we have to do something every day, we're not allowed to do nothing and complain about a world that doesn't work. We have to do something. And that's what Henry and Tink do. They do something. They roll around, they love, they play, they do something, and most important, they look out the front windshield of life. They're not spending their life looking in the rearview mirror wondering what it was like if they had 4 paws or 3 paws or 2 paws or whatever. Only humans seem to get incredibly preoccupied with what's in their rearview mirror. And you and I both know if you blacked out your front windshield and tried to drive, you'd crash.
Yep.
So what these animals have to teach us is live now, be present, play the hand you're dealt, and use the equipment that you were given, and be wonderful with it, and just be easy with it, and the world will open to you.
Well, let me ask you this, Kathy, because you have done a lot to promote women, and, your whole life has been actually dedicated to helping people, but you had to overcome some things, too, and Henry has taught you some things. How do you think your world has been improved, enhanced, since this Tabby came into your life?
Well, one of the things that I've always prided myself on, perhaps turns out falsely, was that I really didn't have any prejudices. I didn't consider myself that I was prejudiced against cats. I just thought I was a dog-only person. I love dogs. It wasn't a statement against anybody. The truth be known, that was not true. I was brought up to not like cats. Cats kill birds. My mother liked to watch birds. She was partially paralyzed, so I didn't like cats. One of the biggest things that he's changed in my life is, one, I love him and I love cats, and I've allowed a whole category of beings into my heart, which for 6 decades was closed. That tells you I'm an older person. And, Henry's been a comforter. The other thing that's really amazing to me as Henry allows me to channel his voice is I am kinder and I am less judgmental as I speak in the voice of Henry. Henry is the voice of an innocent child/animal, and he doesn't have any of the issues of political correctness or any of the beliefs that his mother might have. He just is this child/animal that speaks truth to power. So he's impacted me a lot in speaking to groups and doing things where, as Kathy, a psychotherapist, I would probably never have gone. And as soon as I'm Henry, the whole world is okay with me. And that's been an incredible lesson to me. And one that was a surprise because I really, as I say, prided myself on not being a prejudiced person. He also frames in a different way a dialogue about loss. His goal is to start really a national conversation around healing and the difficult issues of life's disappointments, which all of us have. But if we find delight in every day and adventure in adversity, Henry's trying to help us turn obstacles into opportunities, and he's good at that. He helps us with emotional learning. He's good at opening those channels and of disarming us with his innocence and giving a voice that supports health and healing. That's changed my life. My life has been a change agent. I want to, whether I'm in a corporation or I'm in my office as a psychotherapist or I'm spending 60 hours a week being the voice of Henry, it's really all about teaching people what works in life. And animals are really our best teacher, as you well know.
Right.
They teach us love. That's what they give us. They teach us about unconditional love.
You are so great at these words. I'm looking adversity into adventure, obstacles into opportunities. And these aren't just words. These are deeds and actions and things that we all can do in every day in small ways. And I am so delighted that you are willing to give away not 1, not 2, but 5 autographed, personalized copies of Henry and Tink, A Remarkable Romance. But there's more to this Henry and Tink story and Kathy Conheim. I do want all of you to please go to henrysworld.org I mean, we're talking puppets, there's other books, there's songs, there's videos. This is a multimedia mission, but it is in honor of Valentine's Day. I don't know. Do you have the book in front of you, Kathy?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, so I want to, here's your assignment on the air, unprepped. All right, on page 32, you have, well, actually, you, through Henry, have written a little poem, a Valentine's Day poem to Tink. And what I thought would be great is, if you're willing, we will alternate every paragraph. And we will share this with our listeners for Valentine's Day. And I want all of you, when you hear this, to call your pets over and cuddle with them. Kathy, you start the poem. It's called To Tink, and it's from Henry, J.M., which is Henry Just Me. So take it away, Kathy.
Roses are red, violets are blue. My new love's a dog. Her legs are but two.
Together we play. We more than have fun. She bounces to find me. Boy, can she run.
Some say we're disabled, but not Tink and I. We play like others. The time it does fly.
She stands on two legs, and I stand on just three. Two kindred spirits, Tink and just me.
For those that Tink is not more than just swift, let me remind you, to me she's a gift.
What limbs one's endowed with is not really the point. It's what's in our hearts that our souls do anoint.
So Tink is my playmate and also my love, a two-legged doggy sent down from above.
Forget what is missing. Be here and now. Count all your blessings. We'll show you how.
So all you dear humans who come watch us play, remember what matters. Live fully each day. Love, Henry J.M.
Oh, my gosh. I'm reaching for the tissue box, Kathy. I'm reaching for the tissue box. And,
one thing I want to remind your listeners of is all of Henry's materials, his books, his workbooks, everything that Henry has can be bought at the printing cost, and can raise funds all over the world for animals, for children in need, for our veterans. His books have gone to 4,000 returning from the war to deal with wounds and how we open the conversation about healing. So you don't have to account to us. If you ordered 100 books at our cost, sell them at retail, keep the money for your organization, and make good things happen. His books are a public health project of healing, and they're meant to develop programs in communities where there aren't resources. So we don't want to make a dime on the books. We want the books to be a resource for humans to heal and to create dollars for animals and kids who wouldn't have any ability to have access to these materials. His latest, this is the new thing that Mercedes is doing, is he's distributing 2,000 copies of his book and Dolly's book and the workbooks to children in orphanages in Tijuana. Once a month, we're going down to the orphanages, and already there's hundreds of children who've never owned a book who have Henry and Dolly's book in Spanish to help them deal with the adversities of their life.
That is remarkable. And speaking of Dolly, we do have to kind of give a shout out because poor Dolly sometimes stands behind the curtain.
That's why her title is What About Me? I'm here too.
All right, let's talk about Dolly quickly.
Dolly's birthday was yesterday. She was 11 years old. Dolly was an only dog for 4 treasured years, and she was the most resilient, playful dog in the whole world. And then Henry came. And then Henry got some of the attention, and Dolly became quite needy. And what Dolly's here to teach us is an emotional vocabulary that's sufficient to support health and healing. Just as an aside, there are 10 million chronically ill children in our country, and many of those families have siblings, and most of those siblings become invisible because of the identified patient. To us, Dolly didn't become invisible when Henry came without his fourth paw, but Dolly felt more invisible, and she became needy, and she became more neurotic because Henry was there and Henry got attention. That's what's happening all over the world. 10 million chronically ill children is not a small number. We all need to be visible, and we all need to be loved. So Dolly's book, What About Me? I'm Here Too, is to remind them that she's not chopped liver. And
right.
She's a wonderful black poodle with all her 4 paws, and sometimes she feels invisible because she looks like she's perfect.
That's a very powerful message. I love Dolly. You know I love Dolly. When I come to your house, I'm just like, she's got this love that just oozes, and she just wants to be as close as she can to you. And so I want to give her a happy birthday wish, and I also want to do a shout out to Henry and Tink and Higgins, your cat that you saved that's now hanging out at your place too. So you have...
The family grows. Higgins is a cat, a black cat.
It does.
Lord knows, but he wants a book now, too, he said.
Yeah, well, it's on tap. Tell him, hey, Higgins, it's on tap. You know, I remember years ago, Ally McGraw and Ryan O'Neal did the big movie Love Story, and the big line was, love means never having to say you're sorry. I think that Henry and Tink and Higgins and Dolly are shining examples, I think, that love, no words are really needed, that you have purrs and tail wags, and just being kind to one another just opens our heart, and you are making a difference. This is going to be a very special Valentine's Day in so many ways, and I love your suggestion for all of us to just do something small in some way to honor the students and faculty that were there at Sandy Hook Elementary. 26 tragic lives gone, but in 26 small ways we can do something. Before we say goodbye, is there anything else you'd like to add, Kathy? And I give you a big hug and purrs and tail wags from Chipper, Cleo, Murphy, and Ziki.
Well, thank you. I think that I guess what I'd add is that feelings are temporary. They don't last. And we can choose to pay attention to the ones that are nourishing and the ones that help us to move forward. These animal stories is of resilience and courage and determination and love. And that's the story that all of us should be writing every day of our life. If a three-legged cat has a book, all of our lives deserve a story. And unless we tell our story, people won't know us. So get your little pens out and get your voice ready and tell your story, because that's the only way you'll be seen and known and heard.
All right. That sounds great. I thank Kathy Conheim for being a special guest on our show. I want you all to please dash over to henrysworld.org and find out all the different books and other projects. And remember, folks, for you that are looking for some fundraisers, this is a great opportunity. It is all at cost, and you'll be able to have any extra amount go back into helping your causes. So there's
$10 to $12 profit on each book that they can keep.
That's pretty darn good. I like that. So this is just the latest book. So please go there and contact Kathy and see what you can do to kind of help out your causes. And until next time, I also want to give a shout out to my producer, Mark Winter. I am blessed that he makes the show happen each and every week. That's my little love to you, Mr. Producer. I'm wishing you a happy early Valentine's Day, and I thank you for all that you're doing. So until next time, this is your flea-free host, Arden Moore, delivering just 2 words to all you 2, 3, and 4-leggers out there. Oh, behave.
Coast to coast and around the world, it's Oh Behave with Arden Moore. Find out why cats and dogs do the things they do, and get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get great tail-wagging pet tips and have a fur-flying fun time. Oh Behave with America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore. Every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.